Okay, let me just like talk about the long-term goals of the company. It works like this ครับ when we have the time time span ครับ normally for the IT plan we never plan for more than 10 years นะครับ this is the maximum times that we plan นะครับ for any plan that is 5 years up to 10 years this one we call it as long-term plan นะครับ in term of IT นะครับ um, 1 to 3 years นะครับ this is what we call short-term plan 3 to 5 that is medium-term plan ครับ this is the period of time that most of the companies think about the plans for the IT นะครับ if you're talking about short-term plan is 1 to 3 years นะครับ not over than that for 3 to 5 it's medium-term plan and from 5 up to 10 years at most that as the maximum that is the long-term plan นะครับ so you have to see like the overview picture of the company by just like foreseeing the long-term plan first and then you just like step back to medium and the short-term plan when we talk about short-term plan that's the time to consider of the new project that we have to just like launch for the information system of the organization right okay so we said that planning a career is not unlike planting a tree that takes several years to reach a certain height. So when we talk about the IT career, the next thing that you have to know is about like when all of you, I can tell you that, okay, in the near future, when you graduate, one thing that you have to earn, try to do it as much as you can. Just think first, you have to foresee your career that, okay, what do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? Suppose you just like say that you aims to have go to what to say data science, then you have to see in terms of data science what are the accreditation or certification that you should have, and then you just go for it. Some of you may say that I want to be a network people, I want to be a network guy, or I want to be like the network admin. Then you may have to talk about or think about the credentials or certification like CCNA or Cisco or Microsoft certificate or some of you may say that I want to go to be the consultant and I want to be SAP consultant. Then you have to go for taking a test for the certification of SAP so that kind of thing, it helps us in order to just like get the job easily and grow the network as well. In this slide, it shows that in addition to Microsoft, many other IT industry leaders offer certifications such as Cisco, Novo, Oracle, and Sun Microsystem that you can just like go for it and have the certification. So the next thing that we have to think is that for the future challenges critical thinking skill is important soft skill that you need to have or the certiport inc and the educational testing service or ETS they have like the certification exam for critical thinking as well that you can just like have a look to see what kind or what is the philosophy of the critical thinking test that you can do. They have also including individual and team-based exercises that can strengthen your critical thinking skill because whenever you have to just like run any project, the critical thinking skill is the soft skill that is needed nowadays and the soft skills right now you may just like search through the internet for the required soft skills for the career in 2020 2021 that the industry would like to have from the graduates but anyway our MUSC computer science program we try to encourage our students to have those kind of soft skills and you can see that if you go for I think your batch has to go for cooperative education if you want to go นะครับ for the cooperative education you will see that you have lot of soft skills นะครับ more than many of your friends who are from other university because you try to gear all of our students to have lots of soft skills นะครับ so this is the thing that's why like most of the companies นะครับ would like to have our computer science student to work with them นะครับ oh by the way on yesterday I just like talked to my friend who is like who works at some consulting company นะครับ she told me that okay soon she will send the HR people to MUAC นะครับ to talk about the students who are interested in cooperative education and they will help you to plan as well because I mean like I told her that we changed from internship to be cooperative education already นะครับ we had the problem a bit in the past นะครับ at the very beginning when I started my career in MUIC internship was okay every company was happy นะครับ with our MUC students but when the time goes by I can tell you that the period of the internship was shorter and shorter. Many companies say that okay, they would like to let our students to have longer time to do the internship, but I told them that it's not possible because the internship can be done over summer period only. Otherwise, if it is a regular, if it's the regular term, student would like to take some other on-campus subject instead of doing the internship. So that's why those companies นะครับ they say that okay if it is the short period internship they are not interested in our students because even though our students are good but they don't have the time to assign the task to you. That's why when we get the cooperative education some companies นะครับ they just like talking to me already that they want our students นะครับ to plan ahead if some of you would like to take the cooperative education at the very last trimesters at MUIC นะครับ you can do it and then when you finish the last term of the cooperative education you can continue working with them นะครับ immediately instead of just like because right now some of your friends they start doing the cooperative education นะครับ as the first batch as same as like other universities so after they finish the cooperative education they have to come back to the university to just like finish up their Gen Ed course or free elective courses something like that so that means for some companies they say that it's not continuing because sometimes they assign you for some project and when you almost finish they are going to assign another project to you but you say that hang on I need 4 more months before I can come back to work with you so that means they just like got stuck that's why they say that okay they will help the student to plan for the cooperative education to finish the co-op ed and then you can just like start working with them straight away that is the good opportunity for the students นะครับ to have the chance to go into like many of the leading consulting companies นะครับ in Thailand so this one นะครับ because many of the companies they really like and appreciate the soft skills of like MUC students นะครับ not just for our programs นะครับ other programs they also do the same thing นะครับ they also have just like try to make the students to have the soft skills as well and for me myself when I just like teach the students in the Gen Ed course I try to implement the soft skills to them as well so that when they just like go to work นะครับ or when they have to study for their major subjects นะครับ they can use this kind of soft skills as well okay so this is the end of module number 9 up to this point do you have any questions กับ anyone Alright, if you don't have any question นะครับ let me start module number 10 a bit นะครับ before we finish the class today. You can see that in module number 10, this is called managing system projects. that is also really important for all of us as well, because you have to use the knowledge from managing the system project in here นะครับ to plan for your own project in the future. That means if you have to do your senior project, or if you have to run the project based in some subjects, or if you have to just like go for cooperative educations that they assign the project to you, um, managing of the system project is really important. So to see the bigger picture when you graduate and then you have to just like run your own company, you can see that computer science graduate cannot avoid doing the task as a project, because whenever you develop any software, they assign everything as a project for us, and then you have to manage them by the limited resources that we have got. I'll talk about in details. So just download this file and then we just like talk about this one a bit. Okay. Okay. So now let's have a look on the managing system project handout that you receive. Okay. So for this module is the last module of our subject. I decide to use this module as the last module of our course, because I want you to remember it and use it in other subject as well. And in the future if you have any plans, not plan, if you have any problems or issues of just like using the tools in managing system project and the things or methods that we have to use feel free to come back to talk to me. I hope that at that time it's the time that we can go back to the campus already. So when you can access to my office, that should be the time that we can just talk face to face, and then you can just like show me some sheets or some work that you can just like would like to ask me for some techniques that we can use to help in order to accomplish the system project. In this module we will learn about like the project planning, project scheduling, monitoring and reporting I'll talk about the work breakdown structures, task patterns, and critical path analysis. I will teach you for the techniques for estimating task completion times and the costs that we need to know. We talk about like various scheduling tools that you have to use, including Gantt charts, PERT or CPM charts. These kind of charts are universal kind of charts that everyone know about it. So that means when you have to talk to your senior project advisor, or when you have to talk about the supervisor in the company, when you do the co-op ed, or when you have to go to work, you talk to your seniors in the company about the Gantt chart, PERT, and CPM. Everyone knows about it. Then we learn how to analyze task dependencies, duration of each task, start and end dates. Lastly, we will learn about the project management software and see how it can assist you in the project planning, in estimating, scheduling, monitoring, and reporting. So so for this module, you will learn about project planning, estimating, scheduling, monitoring, reporting, and the use of project management software. You also will learn how to control and manage project changes as they occur. Because when you plan normally you plan at the beginning of your project, but when the time goes by, it's possible that some of the tasks might have to be postponed. For example, if we are talking about like the project that was launched in last year, let's say in around like January or February last year, the schedule that we set up, for example, information gathering, if we say that okay, it should be done on March and April 2020, You can see that on last year นะครับ on March there was the spread out นะครับ or the pandemic of COVID-19 during that time. Everyone was panic, so I'm sure that all the schedule were just like delayed. So when you have to do the project management นะครับ you have to readjust the project management I mean the task in the project so that นะครับ it can just like be applied to the way that we do นะครับ in terms of like cope with the COVID-19 situation. So you learn how to control and manage the changes. After that นะครับ for the project management, okay, before we talk about project management นะครับ I have a question to ask you first. Everyone, can you type your answer in the chat box or use the microphone to answer to me? When we talk about project, what is it in your point of view? What is the project,ครับ? Can someone answer me? What is the project? If you have a piece of task, how do you know or how can you define it as the project or not? So anybody, can you just like type your answer in the chat box or use a microphone to answer if you are too lazy to answer, to type the answer?
A project is like when you have a new idea and you want to present it out.
Mm-hmm. You have the idea, you have to, and you want to present it out?
Yeah, so you plan everything, like including the budget, the time constraints, everything, with like what all you need, and present it out maybe like to the manager or the CEO to see if they approve it or not.
So then if I give you one example นะครับ I have a math problem for you that you have to use integrate. You have to use diff and I say that okay, this one, okay, this is your task. Can I call it as a project or not?
I think it depends on the size of the work.
So that means if it's small, you will not call it as a project, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other objections or any other ideas about what the project is? If we have, I mean, like from the example that I gave it to you, if we have a math problem and we want to finish it tonight, can I call it as a project or not? Does size matter? Okay. So, okay, we have like one idea from one of you now. Now, if I just like talk about another example, I don't tell you yet whether it's a project or not. I say that, okay, I would like to set up an algorithm. I would like to set up an algorithm in order to think about the hash function นะครับ for the last digit of our student ID. You can see that right now we have 7 digits for our student ID, right? Suppose we have planned to increase number of digits to be 3 more digits of the student ID. But the last digit นะครับ the 10th digit must be the hash function that we have to use our knowledge in order to use diff and integration นะครับ in calculus to create the hash function of that one. Can we call it as a project or not? You might think that it's bigger, then it should be a project. While some of you said, no, I don't think that it's a project. Another example นะครับ you have 3 pieces of wood. Yeah, I have 3 pieces of wood in front of me right now. I want to make a small table. Can I define it as a project? นิราพรครับ yes, what do you mean ครับ What project? Which one ครับ the one with the hash function or the one with the small table? Which one is a project in your point of view? You guess both. Why is that ครับ You said that you think that both. Why is that? We don't use our feeling นะครับ to judge for what the project is. We need to have like the definition of the project and the criteria to judge whether it's a project or not. Next นะครับ next example. Let me see. I have a pencil. Next, I have a pencil. It's blunt already. I'll sharpen it. Can I call pencil sharpening as a project?
I think yes.
Why is that?
I think a project is synonym to a goal. So all the examples that you gave, I think to me are a project.
Okay,
it's just some are very small.
Including the sharpening of the pencil as well, right?
Yeah, because there's an end goal, like a product at the end that you envision.
Okay. Let me give you another example นะครับ When you were young, when you were like 2 or 3 years old, did you remember that sometimes you were assigned to write some text นะครับ in the paper like a dictation, something like that? Your teacher told you that, okay, write page number 1 นะครับ copy from the top half of the page to the bottom half of the page by writing the text that you see on the top half of the page. Can I call this one as a project or not? What do you think?
Kind of.
It's difficult to define, right? Okay. So somebody, Daniel said no. Nirapon said, for me, I think project can be divided into phases. Interesting. Class, have you ever built an IoT device? Some of you said, yes, I just like use it as my hobby. Suppose you said that, okay, this weekend, you will just like having the smart plant watering system by just like buying the some sensor นะครับ like a rain sensor or the temperature and humidity sensor นะครับ and you say that okay my smart watering device will work นะครับ on the day นะครับ to water the plant automatically. I just like order something from the internet for the devices, and then I just assemble them and put them next to the pot plant. Is it a project or not?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'm so thirsty. After the class, I walk to 7-Eleven and buy a bottle of orange juice. Can we define it as a project? We said that, okay, some of you said that project can be divided into phases. So I divided them into phases. First one, I grab the money. Second one, I get the car key. Third one, I just drive. Sorry, I told you that I will walk. Then I just like unlock the door and then walk to the 7-Eleven and then withdraw some money first because I don't have the cash with me, and then get into 7-Eleven to buy a bottle of orange juice. So these are phases of the things that I have to do. Is it a project? I think that you confused already, right? Because it seems to be close together. Can anyone tell me if you would like to define a project? What should we do?
I think if you just tell yourself, I'm gonna go get orange juice, it's not really a project. It's more like a goal. But once if you take it, once you plan, like determine a plan, like okay, I'm gonna do this, then this to get to the orange juice, then it's a project. Once you start breaking the goal down into steps.
My goal is that I want to just like what to say, eliminate my thirst. That's why I just like want to get a bottle of orange juice.
I think maybe a project would include a lot more, like more planning and then doing the task, like having multiple tasks to do it instead of like just make it like just one small task, maybe like different couple tasks.
So that means, can I imply that Non is trying to tell us that going to grab a bottle of orange juice is not a project, isn't it?
Yes, I wouldn't say it's a project because it's more of a simple task. Because it's maybe like, I wouldn't call it a project because that's more part of a daily life and not really a project that would have like a big end goal.
Okay. Yeah, some keyword that you said is about daily life. Okay. So you said that if it's a daily life, it's not a project, aren't you?
Yes. Like,
now, yeah, Non, go on. Okay, continue.
Yeah, like maybe like a project could imply that there are different and many tasks, not just one or two tasks. So that's mainly what I wanted to point out.
So if you say that it's more than one or two tasks, that means sharpening my pencil is not a project anymore, isn't it?
Yes.
So okay, nowนะครับ, you can see that I give you like many examples about the tasks. Some of the tasks are easy, some of the tasks are difficult. Now let's define the project together. So that means if you are confused, all of the things that I told you,นะครับ, they are tasks. Some of them are complex tasks, some of them are not. So that means project must consist of tasks for sure,นะครับ, but some tasks are not project. The things that you do as the daily life, for example, you go to the fridge to get a glass of water. This one,นะครับ, if it is the daily life, it is not a project. If you say that you want to drive to the campus, it is not a project because it's your daily life. Even though the components inside are the same, it consists of the tasks that you have to just like start your car, and then you have to fill up the tank, the gas, the fuel, the gasoline first before you drive. So it is not defined as a project as well. When we have to talk about a project, doesn't matter whether the size is big or small, but you need a goal to accomplish. You have the task that you can define. It would be great if you say that, okay, your task can be divided into phases. That would be just like clearly define what the project is. Another thing, project. When you define any task or group of tasks as a project, you must have the definite resources to be used. That means projects normally, project is controlled by the time, is controlled by the budget, is controlled by the human resource that you have got. So let's think about like the sharpening the pencil. For sharpening the pencil, it doesn't need the time. I don't specify the time that I just like want to do. I just feel that, okay, the pencil is blunt right now, so that's why I have to go to sharpen it up. It's not a project. Next, we talk about like the, what to say, making the smart home watering system. That one is a project, because you have tasks to be done. Firstly, how can you just like find all of the device that you need to use, the pot that you have to use? You may have to plan first, like by sketching that, okay, what are we going to do? and what are devices that you have to buy. Sometimes you may have to just like modify your pot as well, that you have to go to Home Pro or the hardware store to buy some stuff, like for example nut and bolts. You buy some just like plywood and something, or you have to buy some plastic sheets in order to cover your sensor, something like that. And after that, you have to just like start doing it. And I told you that we will spend during this weekend to do it. That means you have limited time to do. The budget is as well. If you say that it's unlimited budget, no, it's not a project. Project needs to have like limited resources. And if you say that you do it by yourself, okay, you define already that it is the one person, human resource for 2 days to do that smart watering system. This is the project. And when we talk about like making the student ID of Mahidol University to be 10 digits, and we have to think about the algorithm by using math knowledge from let's say calculus in order to do the hash functions. So that one you want to implement on the Mahidol's student ID for the whole university. That one is a project too. Because of what? If it's not finished, you may just like cancel the whole thing. Everyone still come back to use like 7 digits of the student ID as usual. So because I mean, like if we talk about information system that we had as a project long time ago, and I mean like on the very first week that we talk about, if that project or if that information system analysis and design or the proposed information system is not completed, you may just like stop using it, stop that plan, and then go back to the original system that we have been using. So that means information system development is a project as well. So that's why we have to understand the nature of the project first. On the next class, I will talk about more how you're going to define the projects and the tasks inside the project, roles in the project, and all of the limitations that you have to know when we have to define the project as well, and constraints that we have. All right. Okay, then everyone up to this point, do you have any questions? Are you tired now?
Yes, Cup.
Yes, none. Okay. Oh, because I thought that you are just like what to say, evening people, that you wake
No,
up.
I had class all day today, 8
Oh,
hours. Sorry.
really
Cup,
all
Cup.
day. Mm.
Yes, Cup.
Okay, same here. I start getting tired already because I have class since 8 o'clock until now, but I have just like a lot. I'm sorry, it's a short break. So if it's not related to daily life, it's a project. No, we have some more thing to define as well. If it's not about the daily life, but you don't have any limitation of the resource, it's not called as a project either. For anyone who asks me, yeah. Okay. All right, so if you don't have any question now, we'll discuss about the project, definition and the limitation of the projects before we start talking about management of the project on the next class. Okay, then everyone, before we finish the class, can I see who is with me today? Can you this evening, can you just like turn on your camera, please?